I was able to lose like 50 pounds in like 2 months. And I was so happy. And like, so, and when you get skinny or when you get to that like shape, your body feels different, everything feels different, and you start to like ooh, and I definitely felt sexy. And
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And sure enough, I was able to, because my ex, I think he saw me after that, and he was like, "You super hot." I'm like, "I know, thanks. I've been working
Mhm.
on it."
You're like manifestation
Mhm.
complete.
Yes, right, exactly. And so, and then once I got with Ed, because Ed and I like in the first beginning, he was already super skinny. I wasn't. I had gotten to my ideal weight, so I was where I needed to be at, and I was pretty happy with where I was. But then once we got together, of course, people get together in a relationship, they stop doing their routines and they start just being around
Mhm.
each other, and we just started gaining weight, eating tons of Sonic, those stamp slushies,
Oh,
and
oh my goodness. Sonic
mm-hmm,
is like the go together, get
mm-hmm.
fat spot. Uh,
The hot dogs that big, and I always got the big one, and then maybe a little one on the side just for that extra, because I could take the foot in 2 inches or whatever the hell it was size. But yeah, it was like the big one. Yeah. Oh God, those are so good. So I gained all that weight back like in a matter of a year. I gained the 40 or 50
yeah.
pounds back. And I
Mm.
stayed that way predominantly for the majority of our relationship, which was like what we're at like 12 years now. We're going on 12 years. So like for the majority of the
Mm.
relationship. So it wasn't until this past year where I lost all the weight again. I got back to that weight, and I've kept it off without even trying because instead of trying to lose weight by exercise, like I walk once an hour a day, which has helped obviously. But all right. Um, what was I
The
talking about?
wink, it's the wink for me. We were talking about
The,
how
what
you lost
wink?
weight this time.
What wink?
Well, you were like,
Oh, I winked.
I don't know.
I
Yeah, wait till you
don't
go
know what
back and
I'm
look
doing.
at it. You'll be like, okay.
I don't even know what I'm doing. Like I'm like I go into that. This is why She Be Lion was so good, because I find myself doing these little things I don't even know I do until I go back and look at myself. I'm like, oh, I'm a damn good like skip person. But yeah, so I.
Yeah.
Yes, which I'm so excited about that. I loved her. I love that whole She Be Lion bit. That was like so much fun. So much fun.
She has 247 views right now. I just saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna break it up also into like little like little like clips, so that way we can start promoting them on like the stories. But I'm gonna do some more like episodes with her because I just had so much fun with her. Um, totally forgot my train of thought. I know it's talking about losing weight.
How
Well,
you
I'm
lost
skinny
weight.
now. Yeah, I'm skinny now, y'all.
You
So
yeah,
basically,
now you're skinny.
now I'm skinny. That's the end of it. But have you had has your hip bone showed back up again?
For me,
Yeah.
my hip bones never really look. If that happens to me, I'm going to the doctor. That's all I'm saying.
Well, not like they're
Because
protrude. Not It's not like you're like Skeletor or like from He-Man or nothing. It's just like just that little like indention there where your hips are kind of starting to.
well, no, because I don't have that type of body. Like
Mm,
I am, I'm a woman, so
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there's feminine fat that's gonna rest. And I have mom tummy too. So like I have
A
the little
flupa,
skin
a
flap.
flupa.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
I have
flupa.
I have C-section stomach. So like
Mm,
I would
mm,
need to have two operations to get to Instagram model perfection, which
right.
I don't even have that ideal. Like
Yeah.
I did a photo shoot like I guess it was maybe last week. Maybe it was last week, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And some of the pictures, I know my little fupa's gonna be flexing in it, but I'm fine as fuck. It doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Well, because you're a real person, you're a real woman, which is like,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's like, I've told people, I was like, I could do more to like maybe build a muscle or get lean or whatever. Cause the gays have this like reasonable expectation for like the body of like, a Greek god, and I'm like, I don't have time for that.
Adonis.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't have time for that crap. I'm talking to the dead, it's like, like, I gotta focus on one thing at a time, like trying to like turn into this like model and then also, do what I gotta do. I don't have the processing capability. I don't have the bandwidth
No.
for all of that crap. It's just too much, right?
It
Yeah.
is actually, and that leads me to something else. This girl in a group, there was a
Mm-hmm.
post of like a really, perfect hot girl. And I was like, it would take so much focus to look like this.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I disagree. I'm like, well, you probably don't have all the shit going on I do.
Mm-hmm.
And most
Right.
people are not going to be like, yes, now I'm going to the gym several times a week. I'm watching all my, because you have to watch your food.
Mm-hmm.
You have to work out, like it's like a whole thing. It's not just like, okay, I went worked out once, now I'm
Yeah.
fine. No. Like there's a lot that goes into it, cuz I had an ex who was like really obsessed with it. And like I was very close to it, but that was all we did was work out. And
Mm-mm.
after we stopped living like that, it's like you then all the muscle that you have has like nowhere to like really live, and you're not, caring for it. So then it just kind of goes and you sort of get fat. So I'm
Mm.
just not with it. I would rather just live a spiritual lifestyle and be thin.
Yeah, and healthy,
I'll
and
just,
try to be healthy.
I'll,
Yeah, even if it's
yeah,
even if it's wiggly thin, which I'm perfectly fine with wiggly
yeah.
thin. Yeah,
I
but
know I've
yeah.
got my arm skin. I'm okay with it. Shit.
Hey, hey, Oprah's a billionaire, and she's got way more arm skin, and she fine with it. I actually think,
Right.
speaking of Oprah, like, and Oprah, if you ever hear this, we love you no matter what, whether you're skinny or you're big, doesn't matter,
Mhm.
because the amount of value you have brought into this world, whether people agree with that or
Oh my
not, doesn't
goodness.
matter, because I think you have brought an immense amount of value to this world. You could be skinny, you could be fat, it does not matter. I think you're beautiful all around, and I'll always see that beauty, just because there's just no way you can deny the just the light that surrounds her. So, and I think she's coming to peace with it herself, because it doesn't seem like she's that
Yeah.
obsessed. Even though she was doing that whole Slim Fast, or that whole, what was it? Not Slim Fast. What was it? The
Oh gosh, Weight Watchers?
Weight
No.
Watchers. Was
Was
it Weight
it
Watchers? So the points and that whole thing,
was
and
it Weight Watchers?
I love bread. I love bread. She was doing the whole bread thing, which I love bread too. I'll eat
Yeah.
bread all day long, 24/7. 7 days a week. But I think she's coming to peace with that in herself as well, because she doesn't seem like she's as focused or fixated on that. And I honestly don't think it matters, because even though I get it, because you feel better in your body
Mhm.
when it is easier to maneuver and it's thinner. I wait, like, one of my favorite things to do is when I wake up, I like put my hands to the side, and when I'm, because back in the day when I used to have more of a gut, like it would hang over, like, the strip around with the shorts or whatever. And so when I wake up
Mhm.
now, like, it's just flat and it goes smooth down. And I love the feeling of waking up. And of course I have to pee, because every guy wakes up, with the direction and has to go pee, right? So I have to go pee. But when you're going to the bathroom and you have to go pee, like, the way the shorts sit on the hip, and then, like, I'm like, ooh, I like that bone, even though it's not like I'm like, because I got some childbearing hips. That's why my bones stick out a little bit more. But I'm like, but it's like I love that feeling there. So it's like an enjoyable feeling. But it's like I get that joy out of feeling my body. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, it's
Yeah.
time to put on a shirt. It's time to go look, like someone that does a job or something.
Well, I think for me, and I'll say this about Oprah and most people, I think we all have some
Mm-hmm.
body conscious issue,
Mm-hmm.
because this society will drill into you, this is what's perfect. And you either look like this over here or this over, there's very few of us who look like what is the quote unquote perfection. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like whether or not you're trying to get skinny or you're trying to gain weight, am I frozen? I am freezing.
No, you're fine. You're
Um,
fine.
the technology is just it's okay, I'm not even gonna be mad at it. That live that Michaela was crying in the middle of, I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
even do it good. I thought I was
Mm.
off, I was on, and then I heard myself saying, "I'm trying to do a live on the thing." So anyway, uh, but I think for me, I like looking at my face thinner,
mm.
because I always have had this like, "Oh, my cheeks are really fluffy." But
Mm-hmm.
when my face was big and I looked at something the other day and I was like, "Oh my god, like, you look swollen. Are you okay?" Like, I'm surprised, like, "Thank you for doing the work that you did,
mm-hmm.
for to get that unswollen look,
Mm-hmm.
because I
Mm.
just feel like I look swollen." But, I mean, I was really, like, drinking so much and then eating, like, right after that, I would just eat whatever was gonna, like, feel like comfort food.
Mm.
So, I mean, it was like a vicious cycle of, like, calories and depressants. Oh my god. Like, just thank God for deliverance, that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I had. Have you had this yet happen where, like, people who have seen you lose the weight, or they see you in your slimmer self, they see you and they're like, well, I kind of liked you when you were bigger, or when you had bigger curves. Have you had anyone tell you that yet?
No, but I had a lot of people who were like, well, how did you do it? Or how did you,
Okay.
and like really I didn't do anything except
Mm.
for like make lifestyle changes that would support, not being bloated and swollen.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess I'm waiting on that. But like, I thought my sister would say something, but she was like, she didn't have anything negative to say about it.
Well,
Me
I
and
had.
Allison and our.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. We also. Yeah. And you were like, "What are you gonna say, bitch? Come on. I'm ready for it." I'm like, "Good. If you're gonna say something, say it to me." Yeah. I totally get it. Totally get it. No, like, well, my family, like, they like family because they're used to in Hispanics, like the guy's meatier, a little bit more thicker, and so if you're not, if you're thin, I used to have a cousin and he was like me at my heaviest plus like 25 pounds. And so his family's like, "You're too
Oh,
skinny at that weight." They were like, "You're too skinny, boy. You need to eat more. You're too skinny, boy."
yeah.
So that's the way I used to talk to him. And I was like, "Oh shoot." Um, but like,
Hmm.
I know Ed's mom, and she's like, "Oh, you're so skinny, Nano. You're so skinny." I was like, "Thank you." But it's not like I'm unhealthy. I sure, you saw the picture. I sure eat it. It's not like I'm
Yeah.
like exiting it after I eat. It's like sitting in there for a good while. Um, but it's funny because there's this guy who he's a good friend of mine, and he's always been very complimentary, like, "You're so handsome, you're so cute, you're so cute." I'm thank you so much, because I love the compliments. I'm such a big flirt.
Hmm.
And he saw a picture of me like recently, and he was like, "You're too skinny. I liked it better when you were thicker." And I was like, and I was like,
You know what?
"How dare you? How dare you say that to a gay man?" Like, it was
Yes.
just like, you don't tell a skinny gay that they're not big enough. It's like, oh, so I
Right.
was like, "Oh my god, how dare you?" It's like, I've only been trying to get back
Mhm.
to a healthier, more good weight for like the last 10 or 12 years. So
Right.
I was like, "That's
Somebody
okay."
did actually do that to me. There was a picture I posted, maybe it was probably like June,
Mm.
and they were like, "Wow, you're looking really skinny." Somebody I would like never even entertain, and I'm like,
Mm.
first of all, I don't give a damn what you think,
Yeah.
but okay. But yeah, that did happen to me. Now that I
Mm.
think about it, now that you bring it up, and I was just kind of like, so it's like,
When
where
will
do
you
you
make it?
satisfy
Yeah.
people? You
You
know what I
don't.
mean?
You
Like,
don't.
you don't. You have
Yeah.
to satisfy just yourself. Just fuck
Self.
it.
Yeah, like, I firmly believe now that, like, everything that I do as far as like my body and as far as being healthy or looking a certain way or whatever, it's for me. To hell with it. It's for me, because people might say, "Well, maybe you shouldn't wear a white shirt every single time. Maybe you should like dress it up or whatever." And I'm like, "Do you know how much effort it takes to iron clothes and to prepare for like a teleconference communication session? Like, it's
Right.
just too much work." Like, I didn't like that's one of the perks that I enjoyed about like being able to work from home and not having to do in-person sessions anymore, because I used to go through this whole song
Mhm.
and dance and it would take me an hour and a half just to prep. So I'm like, nope. I'm like, getting up, roll over, gonna put some spit in my hair, make it work for me, and then I'm gonna put on a shirt, and it represents purity, it represents light, love, whatever. This is what I'm gonna do,
Right.
and that's it. Now, granted, I'll probably take some pictures and do something else with a different, stuff, but it's like, it's not that important to
I
me.
like your white shirt. I like your
Yeah.
white shirt. I was thinking I should wear a black shirt so that we could represent duality.
Oh yeah, you wear a black shirt too. You're wearing, but I have gray, and I have gray, and I have black on
Yes.
the inside, white on the here. So I got like this whole like, let's mix it up, girl. Let's like get it all kind of connected together. Let's kind of like conform. And you got an eye on your
It's fabulous.
chain there, and I got an eye right here. So
Absolutely.
we're
I
working.
keep a lot of OHOs on me, man. I'm like, I gotta be protected.
mm,
Because, like, honestly, when I first started, wearing them, they did help me to
mm-hmm.
keep my balance because, I mean, when you first get started, there's so much that's, like, coming at you and you're like, "Am I
Mm-hmm.
okay? Am I still alive? I thought that I was a light beam, but I'm in my
Mm-hmm.
office. Ah." Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
just very difficult. So I just love to keep my adornments because it just reminds me that I'm cosmic, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's good to
Just
have those
reminds me.
reminders. Yeah, it's good to have those reminders. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need anything, but I like to fill my space up with just things that give me that sense of it, like a candle burning in the background. Like, for me, when I light a
Mhm.
candle, it's like I'm lighting the light of my inner being and of my highest self, so that I know that this is who I am, but then I'm also this human being, stuck with all this
Yeah.
muck as well. So I got to like find the balance between,
Right.
right? Right. For those of you who want to come on as a guest, caller, and you want to talk about something random, it doesn't have to be about anything we were talking about. It can be about something else altogether. Just go ahead and text that number there, and then text your first name and the question or the topic that you have, and then I'll bring you on. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a few moments there. I know there's a few people here. Um, yeah, so this is a personal reading. So that's a Xnay. And yeah, like you'd be surprised. Like I literally said, like, it's a topic, y'all. It's not a reading, it's a topic. And people still like, hey, when is this rash gonna go away? Like people be and people will message the number even when we're not live. They're just like randomly messaging like in random times of the day. I'm like, what? It was like, I ain't even on the live. What are you talking about?
They
Um
must be watching later, like, "Oh,
mm-hmm.
let me go ahead
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's why I laugh a little bit because they love you for that. They're like, "Okay, he's live, he's doing readings." And I guess because for so long that's what you did, but, like,
Mm-hmm.
we're just having fun.
Yeah.
We're just having fun right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So I wanted to use my new graphic. That's why. So I said, so here's my new
Oh.
graphic. So when we have a caller, that's the graphic right there. Caller on the line. So
Call on the line, call on
mm-hmm.
okay, I'm not gonna start. I'm not gonna start. I was about to, I'm not gonna do it.
mm-hmm.
But let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you what happened with okay, so I went to go do the photo shoot,
Mm-hmm.
and so whenever I finished with the shoot, me and the photographer started talking. Of course, we both found out that we were formerly crazy, also known as people with ability. And so she
Mm.
was talking to me about how she sees spirits. And I was like, I always meet people who I'm like, okay, Fernando you need to, that's what you need to do. You need to have a I'm a medium mentorship program. Do you see dead people? Come and join me. Let me teach you how to not go crazy. Because
Yeah. Well, I have that.
they're
I
like,
have that.
well,
It's a
I be
one.
sending
Well,
people over there.
it ain't like a program. Well, it's not like it's a group thing. Although I'm working on a group thing. That's one of the things that I'm supposed to do. But I have that one-on-one mentorship program. Is for like people who want to like develop their abilities and like work on their mediumship skills. Because you can everybody can do this. Like I am now convinced 100% because of all the students that I've had, even the ones that they thought that they sucked at this, and everybody can do this and exceptionally well. So it's just depend. You just have to get the right person teaching you and like walking you through the
Yeah.
whole thing. Mm-hmm.
That's why I be trying to send them over there because
Mm-hmm.
they don't feel comfortable. So she told me the other day, she called me and she was like, "Well, something happened." And she found this picture in her phone that like it was like 100 times or something
Mm.
of like looks like some people or some shadows.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, while we were doing the shoot. And I was like,
Yeah.
girl, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. But I mean, I'm not scared of it, but
Yeah.
because I feel like whatever is taking place around me is love.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how I choose to see it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who will be like, well, make sure that you're protecting yourself. And I'm like, I just choose not to see it in a good or bad way. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I just choose to look at it like it just is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? Like, I feel like that's kind of like vague, but it makes sense to me to not be looking at life in a good or bad type of way. Like
Mm-hmm.
entities or energies, like they just are. And you know, I don't know. I just like to kind of be free with it. And I feel like once you start assigning good, bad, evil to stuff, it induces fear.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be afraid of anything,
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, like if
you
you were
know?
the very first woman having a baby and you've never heard about pregnancy or labor, and it's just almost like what's her face from the Blue Lagoon. They didn't know nothing about no babies
Yeah.
being born, and then she was like, oh, she's freaking out. So when you're going through something that you don't understand, even though there is pain attached to it, or there's this whole crazy scene, blood is shooting out everywhere, it can be incredibly distressful. It can be really, really upsetting. And I think a lot of people who go into the psychic realm or start having psychic experiences because we are in a physical reality that supports the negative experience or those vibrations, those lower
Mm-hmm.
vibrations. There's a reason why the physical world cannot exist without it, and because
Yeah.
the whole point of the physical world is to have the ability to have suffering in some way or another, because it's giving us a chance to have these experiences that we're supposed to go through. And when you are coming from a place where you're negative minded and you have fear, you have the fear of God built into you. Like, if I don't understand it and I haven't learned about it and this is scary, it must be the devil, or it must be evil, or it must be bad, or whatever.
Yeah.
So when people come from that place and then they are dealing with any kind of paranormal or supernatural activity, they add on all of that excess fear and lower vibrations to that experience,
Mm.
and they start to pile in all of this extra energy that has more of a lower vibrational tone. So it's really,
Right.
really tricky. I always tell people, like, if you're looking to like protect yourself from a certain kind of energy or whatever, you don't have to go through this whole song and dance to protect yourself or to elevate your energy. All you have to do is, one, acknowledge your greatness, acknowledge the divinity within you, because by just acknowledging that, automatically it gives you so much power and control over your reality. Two, don't approach everything from a perspective of fear, and instead just try to understand it. Try to understand it as best as you can. But if you have the intention of only dealing with higher vibratory states, despite the pain, despite the trauma, despite the fear, because we're still going to feel fear, it's not going to go away. But if you choose to come from a place of like high vibes, love, empowerment, power, that sense of control, nothing's going to hurt you. Like, it's on an energy
Yeah.
level, it's not going to hurt you, because what you're doing at that point is you're creating this bubble of protection around you, and that bubble of
Right.
protection is going to become your sword and shield, and it's going to keep you from protection. Did I ever tell you about that time that I was practicing my affirmation, my daily protective prayer and affirmation? And did I tell you about that time where I made a guy like completely, like, this guy was like a threat, and he like reacted to the prayer as soon as I said it? Did I ever tell you about that time?
Mm-mm.
So back in the day, back when I was in high school, I'm still a Sylvia Brown fan, but I read a lot of her books and stuff. And she used to tell us, say this and say that, and this will help you. And so one of the prayers that I used to say was, God, surround me with this. God, surround me with the light of the Holy Spirit, the light of protection. Surround me with the sacred circle of mirrors to reflect negativity back towards itself. Surround me with a band
Mm.
of angels in a circular way, protecting me from harm. And so I used to just say this every day, but I wouldn't just say it. I would visualize it. I would imagine it. I would see it. And I did it for a long time. And this was around the time where I had my first awakening, because I was trying to create more of a positive energy around me, etc. Fast forward, I'd been doing this it became like a regular thing for me. Every single morning I would say it. I would just automatically say it.
Mm.
So, and practice that whole visual thing. And it became second nature for me. So I was going down the street, because I used to walk to school in the morning. I was going down the street, and as I was walking down the street, there was this guy who was walking on the sidewalk right in front of me. He was coming towards me, and he looked kind of iffy, like he looked sketchy. And I was like, okay. And I didn't feel right. Something felt weird, which is weird because, I was like, why am I feeling this way? And I was even questioning why I was feeling this way. I was like, why? It almost was similar to when I had that incident with going and parking my car in the parking lot, and they stole
Yeah.
my wallet
With
and my
the
phone,
front.
right?
Mhm.
Same feeling. So I was like, something's wrong. Something's wrong. And it's almost like a panic that goes off inside of you. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. And I could feel it in my gut. Like something was telling me, like, this is dangerous. Like, this is dangerous. Danger, danger, danger. It's like danger, robbers, and danger. Like, that whole thing was going off inside of me. And I was like, oh my God. And in the moment, I didn't want to do anything because I didn't want to seem rude to this person, because they were just walking towards me, and there was no indication of danger, but I just felt something was wrong. So instead of like doing, acting crazy and like running across the street or running away like a maniac, I was like, I'm just going to say my prayer, which I should have just ran away,
Yeah.
but I'm just going to say my prayer, right? I was just going to say my prayer. So I did. I said my prayer and my affirmation, and the minute that I said it and I, visualized it, immediately, I kid you not, the moment I
Mhm.
stopped saying it, that guy, he stopped dead in his tracks, and he walked into the street, into traffic, into the street, and around me in this massive circle. And then he came
Mhm.
back onto the sidewalk as if he was just avoiding me completely. And then he continued walking. And I was like, what the hell? You know, and it had he gone just walked across the street, I mean, that would have been something else. I probably wouldn't have even thought it was that significant. I would have just thought, thank God he like
Yeah.
walked across the street. But because he walked across into traffic around me in this massive circle, almost walking over to the other side and then coming back, that to me was like, okay, this worked. Like this totally worked.
Yeah.
And so I always believed it. And then years later, I want to say maybe this was like 6 or 7 years later, I was working at the Starbucks in the medical center in Houston, and I was I didn't want to pay for the parking because the parking in the medical center is ridiculous. Like you will literally
Well,
have to
yeah.
work a second job just to park your
That's
car in
how
one
it
of them
works nowadays.
garages. Oh yeah, no, I don't think so. I ain't trying
Mhm.
to pay that, $150 a month bill for freaking parking no, that's ridiculous. So, I would park in like the neighborhood and then I would walk over. And so that's what I would do. Well, same thing. And what was interesting is that morning, on the way to work I actually heard a um broadcast, like a radio broadcast, on one of the radio stations, and they were talking about these break-ins in that same neighborhood the night before, and how people were having, like, they were like freaked out or worried because they thought that the house was going to be, and this is like a nice neighborhood next to the medical center. These are like really nice houses.
Yeah.
So I'm walking down the street and they describe the guy on the radio program or whatever on the news. So I'm walking down the street. It's early morning. It's maybe like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. It is early. It is late enough that the sun was already starting to peek through. So there was enough light, but it was still too early. Nobody was awake. And I was the only person on that street. And so this guy walks out from the side of a house. He's dressed in all kinds of like ratty clothes, and he matches the description of what I saw on I heard on the radio. And I was like, and I was like, oh my God, and I was freaked out. And so I was like, oh my God. So he's walking down. It's almost like a repeat of that first incident. He's walking towards me and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And so of course, I don't run off because of course I didn't learn my lesson the first time. So
Right.
instead I like said my affirmation or my prayer. Exact same thing happens. He stops as soon as I finish. He stops. He walks across into the street. He goes around me in this massive circle, comes back onto the sidewalk, and continues walking as if I wasn't there, but he was avoiding something. I was like,
Mm.
okay, 2 times has this worked for
That's a
me.
super prayer.
that's a super that's a super thing, right? That's a super thing. And
Yeah.
that's why I tell people, like, if you have a prayer does work, but it isn't if you're just praying because in the moment you think that one prayer is going to do it, there isn't enough power there. There isn't enough. You are the power behind the prayer. It's the affirmation.
Right.
You are the power behind the prayer. So when you say
Mhm.
something and you intend and you have this whole visualization and you've built into it, as soon as you are done with that, and if you've done it over and over again, the power accumulates over time and there's a charge that builds. So for me, it didn't take me but that one time after I'd already done it for like a long time actually, that it worked and it served its purpose. And so with like our tools, our crystals, the eye that you have,
Mhm.
you don't
Mhm.
need those things because your power is in you. But if you
Right.
have that and you use it as a tool or as a talisman for protection or whatnot, it's going to work as long as you use it on a consistent basis and you put the belief behind
Right.
it.
I talked to somebody today about human design. Are you familiar with that?
Mm-mm.
It's like where it's another astrology type thing, but
Hmm.
you like figure out how your body is designed like energetically. And
Mm-hmm.
there are so many people who are designed with these like open centers of intuition, which means that like they're not rooted in it or it's not defined. So like they don't hear. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like those of us who are like, okay, that was a clear message.
Mm.
Everybody's not getting that. So I guess that's why they come to, people for help. And I will tell you another story, Fernando, about something that I did not listen to. You're gonna laugh because it's
Mm-hmm.
so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the kitchen making Michaela some cereal, and I was like, I'm gonna make some for myself too. So I get this bowl, like a little plastic bowl, and I clearly hear, this bowl has a hole in it. And I just looked at the bowl after that, and I was like, the damn bowl don't have a hole in it. What's wrong with
Mm-hmm.
my sugar?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, there was milk all over the counter.
Oh girl. Oh girl. Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I need to just stop. I need to stop because you know better than me. I don't
Yeah.
know why I'm always like, you don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding the bowl. No. Yeah.
Yeah. That
I
voice,
was
that's your
like,
guide. That's your guide right there. That's your guide talking. And they're like trying to help you out. And if that's the same thing that happened with me with my first psychic experience when I had that kitchen fire. It was a voice that was like,
mhm.
if the cabinets were on fire and it looked like this, what would you do? I didn't ignore it though. I was just like, I don't know, what would I do? And I sat there and I thought about it. I came up with an action plan and it worked out, right? I saved myself. I saved the house. I was
Yeah, you
able
did.
to pull it off, right? That's funny.
Yeah, you did. I just
Mm-mm.
thought that was so funny because that's the same thing that happened. Remember I told you about the spaghetti? It was the same thing. When I took there was okay, every time I put spaghetti in the garbage disposal, it, like, clogs it up or breaks it. So, a couple weeks ago, right after that, car accident/police episode that I was
Mhm.
not supposed to be involved in, that I was because, once again, my listening is so good.
Mhm.
Um, it I I just was like, "Okay, I know that I always clog up the sink with this, but it's only a little bit," and something said, "Don't put that in there." You know I did, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Shit."
Yeah. 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 That
But that's, like, my number one thing, though, has always been in my life, regardless of who it is, to be like, "I am my own authority,"
Mhm.
and no, I'm not. You
But
know what
that's
I
the
mean?
Taurus in us. That's the Taurus in us
Yeah.
because you know how we are. Like, oh, you just said not to do this? Oh, no one tells me what to do. Who the hell do you think you are to tell me anything? I'm a Taurus. Like, I watch, you're going to get gored. So you better back the hell up. Back the hell up, fool. Don't tell me what to do. Like, that's how we immediately, if someone tries to tell us what to do, if it comes up across as a suggestion, that's one thing they
Mhm.
can get through with that. But if it's
Right.
just do this or don't do this, oh, who
Yeah.
you think you talking to be telling me what to do? Like immediately, I automatically have to do it.
Yeah. I don't care if you don't have a body or not. This bowl don't have a hole in it. I'm talking about there was
Yeah.
milk all over the counter instantly.
Mm-hmm. Girl, oh girl. Mm-mm. Such a
Mhm.
shame. Such a shame. All that
Uh-huh.
intuition, all that intuition just gone to milk waste, And then the voice probably said after that, "Got milk," because it's like, oh, you bitch, like, why didn't you tell me that there was a hole in this bowl? Mm-mm.
I just felt like, damn, like that was my moment where I was like, "Ugh, this is what be happening because
Mm-hmm.
you hear it and then you go, well, I'm looking at it and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why would you know better than me?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was earlier this week. I just thought that was funny because,
Mm-mm.
you know,
Mm-hmm. Did you get your Thanksgiving food yet? By the way,
no, I guess I need to do that, huh?
I got because I was expecting a lockdown. I was like, we're probably going to lock down again. I don't want to be caught off guard. I want to make
Yeah.
sure that I have all. And I was like, I know there's going to be a shortage of turkeys this year. I know that there's going to be like a push, and people are going to be like, I can't find my turkey. I can't find. So I
Mhm.
bought my turkey 2 weeks ago. And it was the earliest I could get it because I've been like trying to order it since like the middle of October, and they're like, "We next week, next week." I'm like, "Don't y'all know when y'all getting your damn deliveries?" So I ordered it 2 weeks ago, and it's in the freezer now. And I got everything. I got everything I'm gonna need for everything: the dressing, everything. There ain't nothing I need for Thanksgiving food. Of course, we went into lockdown, and all the stores are like the shelves are now empty. There's like nothing. So, so if the numbers go
So,
up in Houston, being that Houston's so big, you might want to
well,
get
it's
that
already the
turkey in
epicenter right
advance.
now.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna do a small chicken. I don't have time to make no damn turkey.
What?
I mean, I do.
Oh my goodness! You better not make chick. You better make a turkey because
Okay.
all them turkeys, gave their life and suffered, and
Gobble, gobble.
gobble gobble.
Okay, I'll get a turkey, but I really prefer ham
I got ham
on the
too
holidays.
with pineapple and the little cherry on top. I got that too.
Mhm.
I got it ready. Mm-hmm.
I need me a ham, and I really enjoy, like, a broccoli cheese
Cheese
casserole.
casserole. Yeah.
Mhm.
My cousins used to
Uh,
do that. They used to like all that Velveeta and all that crab. I mean, they used to go
mhm,
all out. I make mac
and
and
knowing
cheese
we can't
from
eat dairy.
scratch. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I make my mac like because what it's just gonna be me and Ed this year because we're not going to Houston. But we're gonna do the turkey, the ham. We're gonna do the green beans because he likes fresh. He likes the canned green beans. Well, I'm gonna do the green bean
Mhm.
casserole. That whole green
Oh,
bean
mhm.
casserole that some people everybody secretly likes and they have to have it, but people
I
don't ever
really
eat
like
it,
it.
or people a lot of people don't eat it. Yeah, I love it too. I love it too. I love
I like
mushrooms.
it.
That's why. That's why because I love the
Oh,
mushrooms.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sonny already started playing Christmas music too, put
Yes.
me right in the mood,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "I think Imma do my tree this weekend." Like, I
Speaking of tree, yeah, we just got our tree today. So like the very first because I didn't have a tree as a kid. I have like I think I remember one year I had a tree that one year and it was like a little like Snoopy tree and it was like an actual real tree that was like the Snoopy tree. So it was like that.
aw,
But when I got older and I got old enough that I was making money or whatever, I said we will never have a fake tree again. We're gonna have a real tree every year. And so the first year I got a real tree, and ever since then we've gotten real trees. But with everything that's happening with COVID and everything, Ed was like, "I want to get a fake tree because I don't want to go looking for one." Because every year, usually we
yeah,
have to go to like, especially when we were in Houston, we would literally. I dreaded tree buying day because
mm,
he insisted on absolute perfection. It has to have a certain thing. And the very first time we went tree shopping, we found a perfect tree on the first visit. Done. He was like, "This is perfect, perfect tree" to him. Every year after that, there's always been something wrong with it or it just isn't right. So
yeah,
every year we do 6 or 7 places just trying to find a tree. So we go looking. I have to go do the whole bit and everything. And so in the last couple of years, we got less picky. And last year we actually
yeah,
were able to find a good tree, but this year we're like, screw it, COVID. We're not going shopping in the stores, so we just bought a fake tree that's like pre-lit because that's the one thing I hate
yeah,
doing is pre-lighting the damn tree. I like everything
mhm.
else. I just don't like putting all the lights and then having to take it off. And then that's like, you're never gonna help me with the tree. And I'm like, I'll help you. I will help you. But like, I want to put the ornaments on. I don't want to care for the lights. That's not my favorite part of the
Right,
thing there. Yeah.
right. It's so funny how family is. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
love them.
Mm-hmm.
You love them with their little irritating selves. You just love
Mm-hmm.
them. Like, when I thought Michaela got kidnapped, I was standing in the bathroom crying. I was like, Taylor was like,
Yeah.
"I'm gonna go look for her." I'm like, "Okay, but y'all argue nonstop, but you're gonna go look for her." And
Yeah.
he was like, "I found her." I'm like, "Why can't y'all just express this kind of love to each other regularly? Why do we have to have drama nonstop?"
Mm. Mm-mm.
Gosh. But yeah,
That's
I
kids. I
mean,
mean, but we were just like that when we were kids. We were just like that. We were just a pain in the ass. I know. I was a pain in the ass. I was like a smart ass.
uh, I'm telling you, and it's so like your mother, like the effort that mothers put in to really try,
Mm-hmm.
and we're trying to manage ourselves and all these grown-up responsibilities, and kids are like, "Colors." I'm
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
"Bro."
Uh-huh. Yes. And that's why Mother Mary got so much more attention than Father Joseph because I mean, she went through all that trouble to bring in the savior of the universe. I was like, okay, well,
Mhm,
give her a day, give her a day in Mexico,
y you
because
know?
don't worship the Mother Mary. She's a god. Y'all worship her as a god. I'm like, shut up. She's like, if she gave birth to the savior, I think that there's a reason for that. I think we should honor her. Instead of like,
You
don't turn
know?
her into a god. Don't worship idols. Take that born again Christian shit somewhere else because it ain't working for me. Please, thank you.
I was reading about, because I think we talked about this once before, of course. I was reading
Mm,
about, Mary Magdalene. I don't know how I got over there, but
mhm,
I was reading about her and just how, really the patriarchy had destroyed her image
mhm,
and want to do the same thing to Mary, just like diminish her. It's like women are really that grand.
mhm,
Allow it.
mhm.
Because like none of y'all would be here if you didn't have a womb to sit in and grow from.
Right.
So like why continue to paint women as less than?
Mhm.
It's terrible.
But maybe
It's
that's
terrible.
why
That's why
it's
we
like, well, the people that bitch the most about some things, they're the ones that you should worry about the most. And because males crucified, and they assassinated women's, just the idea of a woman,
Mhm.
that in itself is just like a big sin or whatever. It was probably because women are smarter. Women may,
Mm.
I believe that. And people are going to say like, what? It's like, well, yeah, I think that women are smarter, not because they have more intelligence, but because they have the unique ability, because of conditioning, they have the unique ability to balance out the thinking rational mind with the emotional intuition. And if you can use those both together, this is what you get. You get someone who can tune into the future and see things and use, all of these abilities. But with the male who's completely cut off from his emotions and he's completely cut off from his intuition, he's basically running on computer power. And women,
Yes.
because this is the idea of like you should be, you're emotional, this or that. Women who don't tap into their intuition, it becomes more of an emotional experience, but they don't necessarily tap into that intuition, which uses a lot of these other like mechanisms within our being. So I think that, women would definitely change and transform the world if they were put into more positions of authority. It's just what I want.
Right.
That's what I want. I want more of that, even if it means that males do not take, they're not in charge or they're not running the show. I'm fine with a female running everything. I don't need to be in charge.
Yeah, I think what would really
Mm-hmm.
help across the globe and across
Mm-hmm.
the board is for everyone to tap into their femininity, because even as women, we
Mm-hmm.
are not always encouraged to
Mm-hmm.
really embody that feminine essence that
Mm-hmm.
is being an allowing source to guide. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because
Yeah.
even myself is like, for so long it was like go go go, I've got to hustle, I've got to do this, I've got to do instead of just allowing.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of us are doing that, and I think men are afraid to allow themselves to tap into their divine femininity, which is their intuition source.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should use it. Hello, it's okay. Like, it doesn't make you any less masculine. Like, I just would love to see that toxic masculinity be done away with, because it's such a detriment to the success of humanity. It
Mm-hmm.
really, really is.
Well, I think that's where we're at. I think right now we are seeing a renaissance of a balance taking place. There's a reason why the things are happening the way that they are. And this is something that came up for
Absolutely.
me during one of my regressions with like Suvani, my regressionist. And
Mhm.
essentially we are going through kind of a emotional intuitive reckoning where just the idea of mental control or mental, trying to run everything in the world through just the mind isn't enough, and we need to connect with these other elements of ourselves. So this is why we're seeing more women, just by the trend around the world, more women going into positions of authority and power, because they're basically exemplifying another way. Now, this isn't going to apply to every female in positions of power, just like it doesn't apply to all males in power where they can, they know what the hell they're doing, because there's some crazy ass
Right.
women out there. But
Like that Amy lady.
like that, yeah, like that Amy lady, yeah, exactly. But at the same time, like they are being put into positions of power so that they can basically level up and help us to kind of find a balance here. And this is why we've got these younger males coming in where, even though it
Mhm.
irritates me as a gay man because I had to really work to just be a part of society, for
Yeah.
these youngins to come in and like, oh, I'm going to paint my fingernails, and I'm also a straight man, but I'm also a straight man. And I'm just like, my ass would have been beat when I was a kid had I done that. I would have gone through so much strife doing that. And here you are, just like, moseying on in, like, hey, y'all, I'm cute. I know I'm cute. I'm cute. Watch the selfie, huh? And like, watch my nails are painted. Like, I'm like, so it's
But
irritating.
also check out my girlfriend
Right.
too.
Check out my girlfriend too. Yeah, exactly. But yet at the same time, they are making it easier for us to have that
Mhm.
balance. They are pushing
They're more
the,
fluid.
yeah, they're more fluid. They're pushing. I love it. I absolutely love that. And I think that that's what we need. We need a balance of these, there's a reason why the Native Americans, not all of the different tribes, but some of the tribes, they refer to, their androgynous males as Burdicky, where they were like a cross between male and female spirits, and they were usually
Oh.
wives to the warriors of the clan or of the tribe, and so they were given as wives, or they were drives, and they also were usually shamans as well, but they had this
Okay.
androgynous kind of like bisexual, effeminate thing going on thinking. But yeah, so that's what was the case. But it's a necessary component for finding the balance in this world, because we just don't have a balance at all, and I think that's what it's gonna
Yeah.
take.
Yeah, I do too. And like I actually I mean, I didn't know what was happening, but when I talked to somebody, I think it was maybe in June, and it seemed like June and July, I was like in this really
Mm-hmm.
weird space where I was like, I'm trying to find out what's going on here. And I went looking, and I found out that we had planets in position like the American Revolution and all these other times of war, and then finding out
Hmm.
that we have to go from masculine to feminine, and I'm like, yes, they're gonna flip it over, and it's gonna be amazing because we'll get to have time to relax and not work so much, because that is my thing. It's like everything is like go 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 go, and I really, really would love to see people be allowed to rest and just kick back some. Maybe not 100%, because of course we have
Mm-hmm.
to produce on some level,
Mm-hmm.
but like this guy, and actually he just messaged me too, which is funny. One time he asked me, "Well, when do you rest?" I was like, "What do you mean?" Because I live in America. I'm sorry.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Right.
that's not the way our society is built on we're taking a break. Like, your focus is I work these hours per week, and on the weekend I rest, but I also work because I have to tend to my house that I
Mm-hmm.
can't tend to while I'm at work.
Yeah.
So there's not really any time for us to be in a state of relaxation. And the whole time, whether we're working or we're at home, what are we doing? Focusing on what we don't have, which is I have to go to work,
Mm-hmm.
or I now wish I was at home. So it's like we're in this perpetual state of lacking.
Yeah.
And I know you said that we kind of have to be in sort of in that place, but I hate it because it's like you can't really get to your excellent space when you're constantly thinking about what you don't have, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think so. For me, like if I feel that way, if I feel like, I'm not producing, I ask myself in the moment, because I've had to teach myself how to chill and just relax and not have to always work, because I've been a workaholic for so long, especially Starbucks. Starbucks would do that to you.
Mhm.
But I had to learn how to get relaxed and chill. And I do think that CBD oil helped me. I do think that me being here in New Mexico and being, not like crowded in a city has helped me. I think vaping has helped me. All these things have helped me. I think that reconditioning has been kind of a very systematic way of me accepting that I don't control the world or everything in it. I only have control of so much. Whatever I have control over, am I doing what I feel called to do? If I am doing it to the basic standard, not to the highest standard, to the basic standard. If I'm meeting my basic standard of achieving my goals and of calling of meeting the call of source, of meeting the call of the work that I do, which I feel like I am. I think I'm at a basic level, because for me what I do right now is at a basic level. I think because I feel like I'm doing it, I can chill a little more, I can relax a little more. There are days where I'm like, I kind of need to like bust my ass a little bit, because I need to catch up with this and that and this and that and this and that. um
Mhm.
but for the most part, I've had to teach myself how to chill and relax. And that's not an easy thing to do, especially when you're so used to being such a workaholic. You feel like you're evil or you're
Mhm.
wrong or you're bad or you're like messing up in life if you're not like constantly like, trying to push yourself as much. And that's a huge
Mhm.
change from what my life has been like before.
Mhm. I think it's a really like an issue among Americans. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know people who can't really watch TV. And like that's not why I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV because I'm like, oh, I would just prefer to listen to music or read a book. But there are people I know who will watch TV because they wanted to watch TV, but then the whole time they watch TV, they will say, "Oh, I need to go do XYZ."
Mm-hmm.
No, it's okay. Like just watch
Sit your ass
TV,
down.
you
Yeah,
know?
sit your ass down and watch it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And I
I
think,
would
well, I think
love to
that's
see
what.
people step out of that.
Mm-hmm. What'd you say?
I just would love to see people step out of that and allow themselves to cool out a little bit. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I think this year, that's what this year's like they definitely proven to us, or shown us, is like I had a client earlier today, and she was like, is my family okay? Is everybody okay? And I'm like, okay. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, because I didn't know who specifically she was asking. I asked people to be specific because sometimes I'm like,
Mhm.
don't assume that I'm God and I'm omnipotent and I know everything, because I don't. The idea of psychics knowing everything and seeing everything, that's never been a reality. That's never been true. We can sense things, we
Right.
can see things, but we can only sense details. We can't know everything or see everything. So don't assume that.
Right.
But I was like, and this was after the main part of the reading where it's just me talking for the first part of it. And then after that, people can ask me their questions. And she was like, yeah, I just
Mhm.
want to know like if my family's okay or my kids are okay, or if there's anybody that I need to be helping or anything. Cause I just feel guilty because, COVID has been a really rough year. This is just 2020 has been a rough year. Business has not been that great. And, with COVID, I just kind of retreated into myself, and I'm not used to being that. I'm used to being like the mom that's like on top of everything. I'm used to being the wife that's on top of everything. I'm always like on top of everything. And I feel like I've just kind of like gone into my shell. And I got after her, I got on her, and I was like, why are you giving yourself such a hard time? Why are you being so mean to yourself? Why are you expecting yourself to be other than human? And she's like, I don't know. She gets teary eyed, which automatically when someone does that, like, I know where this is coming from. This is coming from the place of, I want to be valuable, I want to be worthy, I want to offer something to this world. I don't feel like I
Mhm.
have been because I'm being human. And immediately I was just
Mhm.
like, what makes you think this isn't part of your divine plan? What makes you think that this isn't part of your soul's plan for yourself? What makes you think that what you're about to do in the next 2 or 3 years, which I had already told her, what makes you think that all of that is in order for that to happen, what you are experiencing right now, this inner sense of reflection and retreat and going into your own energy. And yeah, you have responsibilities and obligations. Meet the responsibilities and obligations. You don't have to be this ideal. Stop treating yourself like you have to be this ideal parent, this ideal wife, this
Right.
ideal this or that. Let yourself be human, and it's okay. Make peace with that, because this is, you're here for a reason. You're experiencing this for a reason. So don't question that. Follow and trust the process. Watch what happens. And because of what she was about to undertake in the next few years, she's going to need this time to self reflect and just to be that aware of herself. And I don't think she realized the value of that. And I'm like, you can't bring value into this world in some way, even in a different way than what you're used to bringing value into this world, which up to that point, it's been through her family and through her marriage.
Mhm.
There's a different way to bring value into this world that is for you only, and that's coming to fruition. But you need to experience this right now, because these feelings, these emotions, what you have happening within you, serves the purpose of fueling the desire to reach outside of your norm, outside of what is the structured reality of your life. And you're not going to hurt the family or hurt your husband because you pursued a passion or because you pursued this thing you haven't touched for 15, 20 years. This is what's meant, but you have to be feeling what you're feeling right now to even desire to reach for this other
Right.
thing.
Right. Like, if I wanted to look at my friend passing away as victimization for me as opposed to the
Mm-hmm.
catalyst for my
Mm-hmm.
transformation, like,
Mm-hmm.
we have to have those times in order for us to be in the right position, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And I think that even loss helps us. For me, Chelsea,
Mhm.
losing my friend Chelsea when she was, because my friend Chelsea was hit by she was hit by a drunk driver, and left on the road to die. And
Mhm.
so after her passing, she was in contact with me, and I was so distraught. And this was like at the beginning of my psychic, professional work in my
Mhm.
business. And she believed in me. She was like, Fernie, you're amazing. You need to do this for a living. Like, you need to push yourself. And she believed in me. I wasn't ready to believe in myself, but she believed in me.
Yeah.
So when she passed, like, her words were like, they rang true to the depth of my soul. And
Mhm.
after that, I was like, you know what? This is for her. I'm gonna push myself outside of my comfort zone for her, and then I'll take it from there. But I'm gonna use that and the love she had and the trust and faith she had with me, and I'm gonna push myself. And other things
Mhm.
happened that also like backed up what I was feeling and the communication between us.
Right.
But to this day, I give her credit for that, because it was her passing and everything that she went through and all of the stuff that happened after that that really propelled me into this path of doing this professionally, and not just like being a manager at Starbucks,
Mhm.
not just continuing and perpetuating the status quo that I was comfortable with. That was what was my norm.
I was just gonna say that I have been I wouldn't say ashamed,
Mm.
but it is like it's hard when you come from a family that's like shuns psychic type people. Are you frozen?
No, I'm still here.
But
Hmm.
like that's a wound there.
Mm.
So in that self acceptance, I'm like, okay, okay, I'll take it. Okay, I
Mm.
won't take it. Okay, I'll take it. But like I have to, you know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
otherwise I won't be able to blossom
Hmm.
as who I am and be able to do what I am supposed to do. Like
Hmm.
my dad called me on the phone following his death in a dream. I don't know if I told you this before,
I don't remember.
but I took a nap and I was 16 and my dad called me on the phone and I was like, I miss you so much. It was like maybe like a month after
Mm.
his death. And I felt some type of way about it because I was like, I'm a weirdo. Like first and foremost, I'm a
Hmm.
weirdo. And then also I just felt like once again victimized because he wasn't there physically. But I feel like if I had followed that or figured out how to nurture that
Mm.
experience or
Hmm.
that ability or anything, maybe now that I have dreams, like, cause like last week somebody I had a dream about them and then they sent me a text message like at the same time I was dreaming, like, hey, I need such and such, which is what I had dreamed about. And I was like, okay,
Hmm.
like it's just a lot,
Mm.
but it's about just accepting it. And I think I'm just, coming into the place where I'm like, I'm super ready to say, okay, I am psychic. You know what I mean? So that I can, you know,
Own
not
it.
feel like a
Own it.
weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and be
And I'm
owning
telling
it.
you from experience, like when you own what you possess and what you can do, it is so liberating. If you own
Yeah,
it, it's liberating because you're like, this is what I am. This is what I do. This is what it is about. So,
yeah,
yeah. Hmm.
yeah.
So,
And I'm glad that we're helping people too. So
yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
You're welcome, Jetty.